Hello, dear friends. Welcome to another Spiritist magazine program here at Kardec Radio. Every Tuesday, we come together to study one of the articles from one of the issues of the Spiritist magazine. We wish you the greatest day. We're together and we encourage you to visit spiritistmagazine.org, where you will find all of the issues of the magazine free of charge, as well as a link to our apps, which you can download to your mobile devices. Not only the Spiritist Magazine app, but also you can download the Kardec Radio app so you can listen to Spiritist content 24/7. And today we continue our study of issue 69. And today's message is titled, You Shall Be Patient. Dear friends, in a world that is undergoing this planetary transition into a world of regeneration, who does not need patience? So today we will learn from Emmanuel about patience. So this is, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm sharing with the viewers, and I will be reading together. We'll be discussing for the listeners. This article is on page 28 of the magazine. And if you can see my screen, I'm scrolling up and down. You can see the many thumbnails, which all represent one page of the Spiritist magazine. And this page is all about patience. So this is from the Spirit, Emmanuel, through the mediumship of Francisco Candido Xavier. A reminder, Emmanuel is the spiritual mentor of Chico Xavier, or was, right? Because he was, while he was incarnated. You and I also have a spiritist, a spirit mentor, and a guide. We all do. And every time we come together to study, we learn about how to better connect with the mentors. So I'm going to zoom and we'll talk about you shall be patient. So Emmanuel says, quote, you shall be patient. You shall understand that the provision of assistance through material measures without ceasing to recognize that patience, daughter of charity, has a free passport to work with precise success in overcoming any obstacles to the achievement of good works, unquote. So the first phrase, you shall be patient. So let's take an inventory. How patient were we today on this Tuesday? If you like watching this live, we are broadcasting on Tuesday. If you're listening to this or watching this on demand, whichever day of the week you listen to this, remember, the teachings of Spiritism are timeless. We understand the provision of assistance through material measures. So just giving material aid, which we should do, without ceasing to recognize that patience has a free passport to work for precise success. So not only we give, but we are patient, we are welcoming, we understand the needs of those who are receiving. So we have patience, the daughter of charity. So charity can come in many ways. Physical charity, right? As well as spiritual charity, where we not only give what we have, but we give way beyond our needs. That's true charity, right? Just giving the crumbs is not charity, but the giving of alms is necessary in a world where the material need is very much present in our life for some of the incarnate beings on the earth. So we have patience, thought of charity, coming free to work with precise success when we overcome obstacles to achieve the good work. So every time you are engaging in good works, you are going to be tested. This is my personal experience. This is the experience of many Spiritist directors and workers of many other centers. So when you are engaged in the works of good, we are going to be tested. And then we have this opportunity with patience coming as the daughter of charity to help us overcome the work. And the work needs to be done. The people who need charity needs to receive the charity, regardless of what's going on, right? So he says, effectively, Emmanuel, hatred and persecution, evil and injury, ruin many constructions of service daily on the earth. So if you're working in the construction of good, if you are serving others, hatred, persecution, evil, and injury. So those who are unable to understand the needs, and even those who are working against the works of Christ, because Christ is love, and love is service to others. Daily hatred, persecution, even an injury, ruin constructions of service. So we need to be aware that there are forces trying to deconstruct our works in the good. But then we have awareness, and then we gain the tools, and we have agency to do the good. However, it's imperative to remember that patience of the faithful workers in good, that's you. If you keep working in the good, you are faithful. To whom? To God. And who is here on the earth as our governor to bestow upon us the designs of God? Jesus. So if you're working in the good, you work for Jesus. Yes, you work for your work, you work for the school of your children, you work for the Spiritist Center, work is in service, right? We don't have workers at the Spiritist Center, paid workers, we're all volunteers. We are working for Christ. We are working for God. We still respect and we still follow the directives of those on the physical plane, but we are taking accounts with God. It's imperative to remember that the patience of the faithful workers in good imposes the barrier of prayer tolerance, diminishing the potency of further destruction. So he's saying, normally, the constructions of service are effectively ruined by hatred, persecution, even ruin, but then the patience of the workers imposes the barrier of prayer. So prayer can protect you physically, spiritually, emotionally against hatred, persecution, evil, and injury that might ruin your works in the good, diminishing the potency of destruction. So he says, patience. We often believe that patience exclusively benefits us when we have the happiness of following their providential suggestions. That's when patience comes. We were discussing this at our Spiritist meetings on Sunday mornings, and we say, when you decide to work in the good, and you're open and you're faithful in the small, Jesus gives you more. Jesus gives you more through inspiration of the good spirits, more activities. It's not, oh, I work for the good, done, I will spend my life enjoying the beach. Every time you succeed in the good, we do more. There's more work coming our way. And then when we are patient, we can form this prayer barrier against those who are protecting us against those who are working against the Christ. Patience is a force of the soul that radiates whenever we apply the blessing, creating security, harmony, helping others, wherever it manifests. So when you pray, when you are patient, when you're patient, this force in your soul to be resigned, to be resolute, to be determined to do the good, but resigned to what's happening to you, gaining the tools with agency to move on, that force radiates. You are radiating being, you're radiating out everywhere. What are we radiating? Because if you're radiating patience, This force is radiating when we apply the blessing, and this force creates security and harmony, helping others. Because let's think about a scenario together, right? Because this is a little bit in theory right now. Let's say you and I are at work, and then you have a challenge in front of you. Remember, wherever you work, you have a talent, you have abilities that you developed, you have vocation and profession. It's in the book What in Life by Emmanuel. God puts you in that environment with the people that you need to be around. Sometimes over reincarnations, we meet again in the same professions to rework what we needed to work back then. And then daily, you are challenged. We are challenged, friends. We are together in humanity and challenges. Nobody has the easiest job that we post on social media. Then, if you have this force of patience and resolution to say, I am here, I am fulfilling God's will, this is part of my reincarnatory plan. Whatever the work it is that I do, it's blessed, and I will do it to the best of my abilities, and I will be patient towards my boss, my colleagues, the CEO, everyone, and this force will radiate out of you, creating security and harmony. And then you help your coworkers to be calm, to be patient, because emotions and abilities of the spirit are contagious as much as anger is contagious. If you go to work every day angry, you're contaminating your colleagues with anger. If you know someone in your team that is constantly complaining negative, that rubs off of you. That's the slang expression, right? But it is here. If you have patience as a force of your soul, you radiate, and it creates security and harmony for others, because we sometimes just want patients to benefit ourselves. But everything that you do in the good benefits us, but also, most importantly, it benefits others. Because if it just benefits us, it's not the good, it's selfishness, right? When I only do things for my family, my school, mine, then I'm not benefiting the world around me. And the law is not of individual, the law is of society, the Spirit's book. To know its opportunity, the opportunity for patience, and the greatness that would be necessary to visit the abyss of suffering in which they gather for paying for repairs, all those who did not know or did not want to host their presence in their heart. So who are these? These might be us in the past. We did not want to host the presence of patience in our hearts. Then now, when we discarnate, we visit the abyss of suffering. And that's not to scare anybody. This is to give you the tools, right? Imagine the greatness that is necessary to visit these places, because in our daily lives, we are unable to keep our mouth shut, not to interfere in other people's lives. We constantly think we know more, and we pass judgment, we give advice where we're not called for. Imagine when you go visit the areas of suffering and you realize that each and every brother and sister there is a child of God who made his or her own decisions, and we are there to serve. So patience to allow someone you love, we see this throughout all the books of Andrea Luiz, to allow someone you love to remain in suffering for centuries and centuries until they are ready to be helped. Just then, in these readjustment workshops, so the areas of suffering are not just for suffering because God is punishment. It's readjustment. So I'm readjusting. I didn't do as much here on the earth as I could. I gained some credit, incurred some more debt, but my balance is still negative. Then I spend time readjusting on earth and outside the earth. Dear friends, everything that you've seen today during the planetary transition, when you watch something happen where people are insisting in remaining in darkness, they will be invited to readjustment workshops elsewhere. That's the planetary transition, immigration and immigration of spirits in the Spirit's book. It's in the Gospel according to Spiritism, chapter 3. It's in the book Planetary Transition. or in The Way to the World of Regeneration by Divaldo Franco through Manuel Filomeno de Miranda. Excuse me, by Manuel Filomeno de Miranda through Divaldo Franco. So on earth and outside, there are readjustment workshops. Friends, we have this idea that earth is just here to enjoy. I'm going to travel, I'm going to experience, which is mainly a gimmick from advertising companies trying to sell you stuff. No offense to our friends in marketing. But we don't need more stuff anymore. We need to be developing the skills of the soul. We could count the number in these readjustment workshops of those that threw themselves into delinquency and suicide, madness and death. Delinquency, right? Crime, suicide, crime against the body, madness and death. For the lack of some minutes in its conviviality, the conviviality of patience, the infallible benefactor, in whose climate of comprehension God guarantees the gift of understanding and waiting. So when we are patient, we understand. It's in the Gospel according to Spiritism. The resignation of the heart is when I understand I am here. I'm not a victim. Things that have happened to me, maybe we have chosen different paths. But I'm not a victim. If I am reincarnated on a planet Earth, this is the lesson I need to learn from the actions that I've had in the past. Few spirits, compared to the 8 billion who are incarnated, are here in missions. We're not the missionaries yet. Spiritists are not the missionaries yet, except for Divaldo and Chico Xavier, and maybe a few others. The majority of us are still reaping what we sowed. But with patience, we have this benefactor. If we embed ourselves in patience and are so radiated, bringing harmony, then this climate of comprehension, God will guarantee us understanding and waiting. Make it larger. You will remember this. You shall be patient. Write it down. Look, let's do this together. Post it. Of course, I don't have a Sharpie right now, but we will improvise. You shall be patient. There you go. And then we stick it to our computers. We stick it to our shelves, whatever you're going to read, and you can make more than one. You shall be patient. Put it in your mirror in the morning. For now, I'm going to leave it on my phone. So every time you try to reach your phone, there's a post-it that says, shall be patient. You remember this and shall help with your serenity of existence. Because when we are in despair, anger, impatience, we're not helping anybody. Where the fire of discord or rebellion is lit. So when you enter a situation full of discord and rebellion, your serenity can quench the fire, can diminish the fire. You will, that's Emmanuel to you and I, you will distribute the portions of your patience where you are, ensuring peace and optimism, light and good encouragement to the sustaining love the Divine Master instituted by foundation, the kingdom of God. So how do you plan to distribute the portions of patience where you are? Friends, as we are talking this Sunday back with the team here at Richmond, when we are ready and we say, I want to change. I have been X, Y, and Z. Now I want to be A, B, C. I want to be patient, understanding, compassion. That should be yearly. We say our yearly goal, our 5-year goal, our 100-year goal, your 1,000-year goal. Not very different from what you do for your profession, right? Your manager comes, proficiency time quarterly. How do you see yourself in 3 years, right? And this time it's true. What are the spiritual values that we are trying to work on this lifetime? Patience is one of them. How do I see myself in terms of patience in 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. You can say patience. You can do a little diary, patience. And today is 5, 6, 25. And you can rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5. Of course, I'm doing this on a post note because I don't have a notebook. But normally, what would we encourage each other to do? To find this opportunity to distribute the portions of your patients. Now, you may have today, let's say I had a patients of 3. I'm just giving an example. So my portions of patients are limited, right? Instead of being big, it's smaller because it's 3 out of 5. But then, how am I going to distribute it? I'm going to distribute it by being patient in traffic, by being patient when I get to the grocery store and I'm looking for the item and it's not there. I'm going to be patient when I ask my child to put the shoes and I don't. These are the things that are part of our daily lives. It sounds trivial, but if I cannot distribute my portions of patience in the simple, in the little, there's no way I can distribute patience in a greater manner. See, we build, just like when you're learning. One day the schools of the earth and field do will teach patience. When you take your child to the Spiritist Center, even if the Spirit Center doesn't have a program for the children, exactly. Some do, some don't, some only have it in Portuguese. When we have it here, it's in English. It's limited because of the number of workers, right, that we have. You are teaching them patience. And that patience of sitting for 45 minutes to an hour, where the attention is not on them, where they have to read a book, they have to call, and they have to sit, they have to follow, they have to listen to a message and a prayer, and then leave, and then come back and ask, that is patient, that allows you to have patience when you are older and you're going to go to a job and a customer is going to treat you badly. I'm giving you trivial exercises instead of course, I'm giving it to myself as well. Remember, all the hosts are just megaphones. We're just talking, but we have to apply it to ourselves too. So when I teach the little ones, things that you wish you know, right? Patience, understanding, compassion to help others, not to be just me, mine, what can I get? Is what can you give to the Spiritist Center? Being there and managing your thoughts to be focused on a talk, it is patience, it's training, focused, because we are really scattered in the society these days. When you distribute your patience to the person who you don't know, which sometimes is easier than the one you do, you're driving, they cut you off. Instead of cursing, you bless them and say, well, maybe they have an issue, they need to get to the bathroom. Instead of reacting, you take a break and you say, no, this is a child of God. It's a child of God. He's having issues understanding the laws that dictate for societal rules made to protect one another. Imagine if every day everybody decided that red light was a suggestion. You didn't have to stop your car at a red light. And then why do we have red lights? As a Wild West, each man for their own, right? We have to remove ourselves from that. So the smallest things you can think in your life about patience. When the driver of the company that picks you up is later, when there's traffic, when I don't get what I need in the what I want, because there's a very few of us in the US who have a lot of needs. A lot of the things we complain about are about wants. There's nothing wrong with wanting, but we have to want it right. So when we distribute these portions, it might be at your house, when your spouse leaves the wet towel on the floor, when your child won't pick up their mess, they won't take a shower, won't brush their teeth. I'm giving examples of parenthood because I have a lot of friends going on this journey, and that tests your patience to the limit. In addition to all of the things that happen to us that are opportunities to portion your patience. And the more you give, more the spirits will sustain you. Right? You ensure, when you distribute your portions of patience, you ensure peace and optimism, light and good encouragement. That's what you do. You radiate it out, so others pick it up, and then you calm, you quench the fire. You shall give your patience to the suffering, and disoriented of the world, says Emmanuel, as much as you give your jug to the thirsty and share the resources of your bread to the hungry. So charity has a daughter called patience. And that charity can be physical, give someone the bread and the thirst. And Emmanuel is inviting you to go one step above. Give your patience to the suffering and disoriented, which are many, including us at times in our lives. You indefinitely exercise the patience to listen. Who knows how to listen? We're always thinking about what we're going to say next. To renew, to apologize. How many of you have apologized to those you love recently, or those who you don't know that you hurt? To learn. We need to learn. We need to keep reading. How many of us have read the 500 books of Xavier? All of them, and understood and remember them, right? To assist. There are so many hours in the day to assist. To repeat and keep the conviction that this acting with patience, exercising patience, you help not only yourself and those around you, but to the Lord himself that needs our honors, expects each of us the support of patience, so he can use us in any problem as an important part of solution. So go, friends, make a list of your patience needs. The things, where's your patient levels? What are the things that I will be patient about today? How am I going to distribute this patience to the ones next to me and to the ones that are farther from me? And then Jesus he needs you. Jesus does not do everything on his own, even though he could, right? He is a superior spirit. Not only needs us, but expects each of us to support patients so we can be used. When you open your mind to the beauty of Spiritism and service, the Spirit mentors inspire you. The more you're faithful, the more they inspire you, more service you have. It's a beautiful way to get the nutritional food that your soul needs. Because we are here at Kardec Radio, after all, to nourish our souls. This is from the book Alma y Corazón, Soul and Heart, a work by Francisco Candido Xavier and Emmanuel. You shall be patient. And if you're being patient enough to get to the end of this, please like, subscribe, share, follow, all of the good stuff, so others can also reach these beautiful teachings by Emmanuel. Dear friends, I hope that you have a lovely evening, a great day, a great afternoon, depending on who you're watching this. And God willing, I'll be back with you next week with another Spiritist magazine program. Have a blessed day.